this Simplicity Regent today. Customer brought it in and said that it turned off while he was mowing when he was trying to adjust the deck. We're going to check this out and figure out what's going on and show you how to fix it. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button as we go along if you enjoy the content. We go to take a look. Once I have the hood up, one of the first things I notice is that he's got a sticker on this thing, or a piece of tape with an arrow, saying that he was using this button when it died out on him. No big deal there. Come around to the other side. I notice, well, hey, the PTO is still on. Surely that can't be the only issue. When I turn the key, I don't get any sound out of it whatsoever. First thing that tells me, normally you'll hear the solenoid click up front. The headlights aren't coming on or anything either. So let's check the fuse. Fuse is right in here. Fuse is blown. Throw another fuse in it. Oh, and I just heard the solenoid click as I did that. Now when we switch the key from on to off, you can hear the solenoid click. That's what you should be hearing. We know that we have power. You can also click your PTO up. You can hear that snap in. See what happens. Well, besides the battery seeming extremely dead, seems like we may have found part of the problem at least. Looking at the battery, it says here that it's from August of 2019. Well, it's October of 24 right now. It's quite an old battery. I've got 10.02 volts, it looks like, if I can keep it on there right. 10.04 volts. Surprised it actually had enough to turn it over. Let's try to jump this and start it real quick and see if the charging system's working. Now, these terminals are definitely not tight enough either. I'm not going to tighten those down because I suspect we're probably going to have to replace this battery anyway. Normally you get 3 to 5 years out of them, and especially with this only being 230 cold cranking amps, probably the original battery it came with. I use the Noco Boost HD. It works well for this. As soon as you start it, you do want to remove the charger from the battery to make sure you don't fry the charging system on these. It's like two charging systems competing. I called and talked to the customer. He said it's been sluggish anyway, that we should go ahead and replace the battery for him. Once they start to get sluggish like that, it's hard on the whole system because you've got way higher amperage that you're going to be pulling since the voltage is lower. We know the charging system's working. So if it keeps getting sluggish, it means this battery's not able to hold a full charge. And when you're trying to run electronics and you're only getting, 10 or 11 volts when you should be getting, 12, 13, 14, it's hard on it. It's real hard also on the charging system to try to keep up with that. And these are just 7/16 that we're removing here. We use a little different battery. It's got some pieces that come up here, so it's a little bit harder to mount on the front. We normally switch it out for a bigger washer just to kind of cover that, but This all comes just straight out. That just kind of pinches and comes out of the hooks in the back. Battery comes out. This battery is actually pretty heavy for 230 cold cranking amps, I can say that. Most of them are extremely light when they're the 230 cold cranking amp batteries. And what we use is actually 340 cold cranking amps, got 425 cranking amps, die-hard gold. So when we go back over here, you can see that this does not exactly want to fit perfectly in that. So again, normally what we'll do is we'll get a bigger washer here and secure it on like that. This is just something bigger to catch on to more of this bracket. Still leave our smaller washer on there, not going to hurt anything. And this is a carriage bolt, so you do have to kind of hold it as you're tightening it down. Now we're in there nice and secure, just like the other one would have been. Normally I'll put different bolts and washers on this, but these are just in perfect shape. There's not a one sign of rust or anything on them. Kind of silly to switch it out when that's the case. It's holding on pretty good. You want those nice and tight. Put our other one on. I'm not going to worry about testing the charging system again now. We already tested it with that other battery. We know it's working. Okay. So we're getting good voltage now. We've got a good battery in it. Question is, why did the fuse blow to begin with? He said, just hit the PTO on there. And actually, look at that. The lights do work without the charging system. I was thinking they ran off the charging system on this, but we just didn't have enough voltage for them to click on. When we're turning this on now, the lights are coming on. We've got the ignition switch to on here. It's not seeming quite right as far as the switch goes. And the motor should be moving the deck up and down as I'm moving this with the ignition switch on. It is not. Let's test the switch and see what happens. So for the up-down switch, all we have to do really is just pull it straight down and out. And then we can pinch on this side and pinch on the opposite side, and it pushes straight through. Now that we have the switch out, we can move our meter over to basically the little beep symbol. And then if you hit select down here, you'll see the beep symbol also. It depends on your meter, but that's what you're looking for. You're looking for this beep symbol on there. Basically, it shows continuity when you touch your meter probes together. Now you can also use ohms when they're together. You should have basically zero resistance, meaning there is a dead short if you're using the ohm rating. We're going to use the beep. It's a little bit easier. Don't even have to worry about the meter. You can just hear it. Now on this, basically what happens is power comes into these bottom two terminals, and on one of these it's positive 12 volts from here to here. And then on the other one, it's basically backwards of that. So it'll have the red hooked up to here and the black hooked up to here. So the terminals in the middle go directly to your motor. So when you switch this
switch to go down, it's going to connect from here to the top. Basically takes a little prong in here and flips it up, and then the opposite happens when you flip it the other way. It's going to connect from here to here. So the center is our common terminal, and the bottom I get nothing when flipping that up from the center to the bottom. The switch just feels kind of funky too. Same thing when I'm doing it. Let's try it the other way. From here to here. I'm getting nothing out of this thing at all, which kind of... Nope, I just touched them together there. So yeah, basically there should be a connection from here to here when the switch is here, and there's not. And there should be a connection the opposite way from the center to there, and there's not. On any of these terminals, it is not making a good connection. This tells me what probably happened is this switch failed, and it actually blew the fuse while he was trying to go along. It probably dead shorted this positive set to this positive set. If we take a look up top and go ahead and put our meter on volts DC, which is basically this symbol next to the volts, we can test our bottom pair and see what the voltage is. So I've got negative 12.40 volts there. And if I go to the top pair, I'm going to have positive the same number, positive 12.4 volts. So these are our two pairs. They are coming in fine. We're getting good voltage to here. It's just our switch is not sending that voltage, those voltages, to the motor down below. For good measure, we're going to test the motor also. We'll come down here, find the electric motor, and find the wiring coming up. And we're just going to disconnect this. So you just pull here, pinch there, and then pull it straight down and out. We're just going to take the old battery, and I've got a pair of cables here hooked up. It is fused, but we're going to take it and hook it up here, and then we're going to test the motor with directly 12 volts. We're just going to connect it one direction, so our motor's going up that way. Now I'm going to put the positive on the top and the negative on the bottom. Now our motor's going the other way. We know that this motor is working correctly because we've just given it direct power. Now that's not quite 12 volts, so it's kind of acting weak, but it's definitely working. Just how it should. We know the motor's good. All we need to do in this case is get a switch for the engagement of the motor to get it taken care of. So we've got our switch in. That's a 1761475YP. It's a Briggs & Stratton switch. Go ahead and install it. And it's got that little nipple here. It's going to have to fit in the right position. And then we want the low to the bottom and the high to the top for raising it. And I've got the key to on, and I did plug it back in down below when we were done. Now, as I go down, it goes all the way down. As I go up, the deck height raises like it should. Once again, lower, it's going down. Raise it, it's going up.
Well, not such a difficult process on this one. Wasn't anything beyond a battery and a switch for the deck height adjustment. Hopefully this helps you out if you have a similar issue on your Regent or Broadmoor or even Landlord. It's all kind of the same design as far as these electronic height controls go. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the content.